AskReddit by flirting with disaster. Pro-life of Reddit. What should we do with the unwanted children that would otherwise be aborted? So I feel like I've read through hundreds of comments and none are from pro-lifers answering the question. OP forgot the serious tag is absolutely imperative for a topic like this. I have a modest proposal. 2 hours into the post and someone's already said this. That was swift. Make them work in the mines. The children yearn for the mines. I'm not pro-life, but my brother who is staunchly pro-life says that every child deserves free healthcare, school, food, and housing. Literally want for nothing until they are adults and then hopefully with the skills knowledge that's been provided, begin taking care of themselves. I happen to agree, only wish that it extended beyond just kids, but baby steps I guess. Yeah, I agree with this too. If the gov prevents pregnant people from terminating unwanted pregnancies, then our taxes can pay for all the thousands of unwanted babies, children, teens, and young adults that will result from bans. Unfortunately, most of the pro-life people I know are also very much against raising taxes to support any kind of social safety nets. It's not about life or quality of life for anyone, it's about taking agency from pregnant people. Fix the entire shit system when it comes to kids. Adoption, foster care, everything needs to be addressed. And in the meantime, if the mother wanted an abortion and their state laws prevented it from happening, then the child should be supported by that state's government until 18. The church leaders should babysit for free, be on call when the parent needs to go to school or work. This would prove their Christianity or not. Significant subsidies for daycare would be a good start. Private, quality daycare costs thousands per month. Most couples cannot afford this and should receive vouchers so they can. Just because people are poor or middle class doesn't mean they should put their kids in high risk, unlicensed daycare. I'd be cool with this if the money actually makes it to the employees. If I'm entrusting you with my child, you need to be paid enough to give a shit. $11 an hour is not enough to give a shit. We've lived lean and worked weird shifts to avoid our kids going to daycare or a babysitter. The cost is prohibitive, but mostly it's the leaving your kids with underpaid strangers that's the issue. And would you agree to the tax increases necessary to make that happen? This topic is my most frequent counterpoint to people who believe capitalism can cure all ills. It's great for scaling industry and solving inefficiencies, but there will never be any money in orphans. Barring some modest proposal type stuff. Those programs pay for themselves, often 5 or 10 times over. We are paying through the nose to keep people broken. https://www.impact.pen.edu/early-childhood-toolkit/y-invest/return-on-investment/ I don't think you'll actually find a pro-lifer on our AskReddit, or one that won't be downvoted into oblivion for giving an honest answer, but you could always go the North Korean government route and sell them into slavery to the Chinese. Or the Romanian government technique and force thousands of children into orphanages where they're so malnourished they need to be given blood transfusions from people who are HIV+, so they get AIDS. I'm not making this up, this really happened. Make it easier and cheaper for loving families to adopt. Give it to the pro-lifers to adopt. God, I wish we have been trying to adopt for months. It's taken over $35,000 in lawyer fees and we are still on a waiting list. We have one biological son already and wife and unable to conceive anymore, so we want to adopt more kids. But it's so expensive and difficult. Edit. We have fostered 14 children from ages 2 to 17. Multiple were on the autism spectrum and not one was allowed to be adopted. We are tired of losing children we love to a nasty court system. They should become desperate parents that are easily exploited in the workforce as cheap dispensable labor that invariably raise the next generation of easily exploited labor that will follow right along in their parents' footsteps since they were left with no time to raise them properly. That is the actual plan. The quiet part said out loud. Mars colony. Post this question in our Ask Conservatives. Obviously, we should cut all state and federal funding for welfare programs that support low-income families and early childhood development. Let's also shoot down ideas like free school lunches, and make sure to reduce the pool of potential adopters by using religion as a criteria. The same people who vote pro-life tend to support these things, or vote for the politicians who support these things, so clearly they don't care about the kids once they're born. They're not pro-life. They're pro-birth. Don't forget about removing sex education from schools. They don't care about kid, they care about not letting women have a choice. People will say adoption, but they don't see the rehoming pages on Facebook and other social media of people rehoming children they adopted. They will say foster care and completely ignore the horror stories of children in foster care. They will say they should stay with the parent and the parent should suck it up and provide, but turn a blind eye to the children impregnated by family members, the people who are addicted to substances who will lose custody, and the overwhelming amount of children dealing with neglect, sexual and emotional abuse that fall through the cracks.